Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back again to the Totally African podcast. Pew, 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 pew. We're so excited to have you here once again. It's another week, another episode. I hope you guys are enjoying this because, man, I'm excited about making them. As you all know, Totally African podcast is about telling Africa's story, And what I love about this podcast is the fact that we're bringing different voices from different fields, different ideas, different backgrounds, different countries. And it's like, this is like a collective of different minds, like the best, greatest minds, and we're bringing them into one place where we can just learn from each other, where we can, bring all these ideas into one place. Like, how cool is that? You know what I mean? So we're really, really excited about this, and like the episode today. How do I prepare you mentally, spiritually, physically? I don't know how to prepare you for this. Well, all I'm gonna say is buckle up them seatbelts and just be ready. Because as you saw from that title, like I think generations will be changed from this interview, and that is not an overstatement. So be prepared for it. But before we jump into today's episode, as you guys know, here in Totally African Podcast, we have started actually ever since like the past two episodes, we started this new little trend where we're doing like a spotlight, right? So we do this a spotlight on someone, an African creative, something African that we just wanted to put a spotlight on. You know what I mean? So for this week, we have something really, really cool. It's actually a fellow podcast, and it's by someone who is so inspiring personally for me. He's like a mentor who he may not know who I am, but I know him. His name is Vusi Tembekweyo, and he has this really, really cool podcast called VT Show. And man, I just love that podcast because of the fact that, this is a seasoned businessman, a seasoned veteran in investments and all that. And he's giving all his tips, all his info on YouTube, but now also on this podcast, right? So when I heard that he was starting a podcast, I was like, this is so cool. And one of these last episodes that he had, he was talking about, clarity. You know how you listen to something, I'm like, wow, I needed to hear this today. This was it. So I'm going to leave that in the description below. That's our spotlight for the week. And we are going to jump into this. But before we even start this episode, do us a favor, guys. Like, it's completely free. Just scroll a little bit down, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. That allows the algorithm to know and to push this out even more so that more and more people can hear about, these African voices. More people can hear about these amazing, amazing stories that we're telling here. So if you don't mind, please do hit that subscribe button. All right, guys. All right, let me put on my cool voice. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages and sizes, there's a little subscribe button. If you're watching this on YouTube, all you got to do is scroll and hit that subscribe button. And if you're on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, oh yeah, all you got to do is hit that follow, hit that subscribe, leave a good review, 5-star review. I don't know why you'll put up with me. So let's jump right into today's episode. This was a big one. Honestly, guys, for me personally, this interview was a game changer. And I honestly hope it will be for you as well. And there was so much value, such great conversation that we had in this interview. The interview today is with a gentleman named Osamede Arhunmwunde. And he is from Nigerian background, currently living in Canada. He's actually an investor, and he has also an educator. So he has spoken in things like the TEDx conference. He has been featured in news broadcasts around Canada, around the world, and he has an investment fund that he manages, and a lot of different things. But I'm telling you guys, like, this conversation is truly a game changer, and I'm so excited for you guys to listen to this today. So like I said, buckle up those seatbelts, get ready, because this is really going to be one that you may never forget. So let's jump right into this Totally African Podcast episode. Let's go. Hello, everybody, and welcome again to the Totally African Podcast. We're very excited about the interview we have today. You're in for a treat, as I was just mentioning in the intro there. We're going to get so much value, so much knowledge, and we have an amazing guest. His name is Osamide, and wow, you guys are in for a treat. Let me just put it like that. Okay, you guys are gonna, even me myself sitting here, I'm just buckled up and ready to learn and to see what we can do with this information we're having today. So, Osamide, welcome to our
Thank you, bro.
podcast today.
Appreciate you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. How are you doing today? First off,
Fantastic. It's a beautiful day. Can't complain. Life is good. You know,
awesome,
we're still
awesome.
here. It means we still have a shot at changing it all for ourselves,
That's
for our
it.
families, for the rest of the world. So I'm excited about that.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So let's start with a quick introduction. For those who don't know who you are, what would you say? How would you describe who are you, your background, and a bit of what you do?
Okay, so again, my name is Osamede Arunde. I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I'm an investor and an educator. That's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much it. On the investment side, I manage a fund that primarily focuses on business around Africa. We
Okay.
have exposure today in Nigeria, Ghana, and Zambia. And then I also invest in public markets. So we're talking about the stock market, the warrants, options markets, the SPACs, special purpose acquisition companies. I invest in other private companies as well, and
Mm-hmm.
also in the cryptocurrency market. So pretty much investor, always looking for an opportunity, understanding the world is changing, and always trying to position myself and my clients to make sure that we are ahead of the curve. So that's what I do as an
Nice.
investor. I'm also
Yeah.
an educator. I absolutely love to travel the world, talk to people, share ideas that could
Mm-hmm.
potentially transform their lives. Because truth be told, I mean, I'm just a guy from Nigeria.
Yeah.
Someone changed. It's the same. People shared ideas with me that up till this one have transformed my life. So I
Wow.
think that I had a mentor who once told me the formula is study, practice, teach. So you
Mm.
must first study, then you practice, and then you have an obligation to share that with the world. So I absolutely love to educate on the same kind of topics that have transformed my life and share the rest of the world.
That's
So that's what I
awesome.
do as an educator. I've had an opportunity to also speak around the world. I had a TEDx talk a few years ago. I've
Yeah.
invited to a couple of morning shows. Spoken for the U.S. Army, the Canadian Air Force, some national companies.
Nice.
I mean, really, just a chance to just share, really. So that's a little bit about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's really, really awesome. And what you do, I can't wait for our audience and people who are watching this just to sort of dig into what you do, because I really, really think, people like you are, like you said, are changing the world, because a lot of people who maybe have this information about investing, or, these tips and tricks, or even just the knowledge, maybe would keep that knowledge to themselves. So to have someone like you who is not only knowledgeable in that area, but also willing to educate and to teach others and help others, that is huge. That is really, really big. And thank you for what you do, for real.
Thank you.
So that's big.
We all have to work collectively. So you do a great job to being that channel to take this
Yeah.
to the people. So I think you do an absolutely remarkable job. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So how did you get into, this investing space and all this? How did that start up for you?
Oh man, I think I was one of those kids growing up. I just knew I wanted more, but I didn't really understand what that meant. Even
Mm,
I mean, I was from a young age, from as far back as I can remember. I always just loved to put deals together. I always loved to solve problems, and I think that's one
right.
of my superpowers today is that
Yeah.
I'm a problem solver. My
Nice.
brain just sees a problem, wants to solve it. It gets me going, gets me excited. So I did
Mm-hmm.
that a lot when I was growing up, but again, it wasn't structured in any way. I wasn't shown into the world of entrepreneurship. See, I grew up in a time where entrepreneurship wasn't seen as a career, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
People would tell me, families would tell me, that, hey, my parents would say, look, you cannot be a full-time entrepreneur. You have to
Mm.
go to school, get a job, and it was out of love. I get it,
Yeah.
get a job,
Yeah.
and then you do business on the side. But you see, in
Mm-hmm.
my mind, I knew my mind just rejected that. I knew I
Yeah.
wanted to change the world. I knew I wanted to help shape the world.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a struggle growing up, trying to balance going to school and then just knowing that you sort of feel that out of place. But it's crazy because while I was going to school, when I was in high school, for example, I
Mm,
used to be
mm.
the guy, and people will make joke and say, "Look, if you're looking for anything, go meet that guy. Go meet Osi. Can't
You'll
get it.
make it happen.
Yeah, if you can't, if somebody can't get it, just rest, just forget about it. Nobody else. can't get it, then you're out of luck. You know,
Right, right.
somebody to get it is him, right? Because my
Yeah.
brain knew how to, put solve problems. And so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I mean, I did that very disorganized, and then I moved to Canada in 2006 for university.
Yeah.
Then during my first few years, I met a lady by the name of Doc Brown, and she
Mm-hmm.
saw that passion in me. She saw
Mm,
that thing in me, and
mm.
then she told me one day and said, "Look, I see your passion. I see what you're trying to do, but you need to learn how to do it right." And I was like, "Yeah, but like, where do I start?" Like, I was
Yeah,
in school
yeah.
going, getting a degree in geology. I mean, we're not
Right.
quite teaching that in geology classes. You know what I
No,
mean?
I
So
bet not.
he recommended a book, actually gave me a book. And this was the first book I ever read in my life. Like the
Mm,
first personal development book I ever read. I didn't even know that there were books on truth be told. And that's how I didn't know there were books
wow,
on personal development.
wow.
He gave me the book,
Yeah.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Okay, that's a
That was the
great.
beginning of another level of transformation in my life. Right. So
Mm,
she gave me the first dozen books I read. Like I'm talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad, Richest Man in Babylon, Think and
yeah.
Grow Rich. The list goes on and on. But for the first time in my life,
Mm,
I saw that I wasn't crazy after all. I
yeah.
saw that there are people living the life I dreamt of, and there
Exactly.
was a system to it.
Mm, mm,
That
mm.
was it. I knew that there was a system, and the beauty about a system is that
Wow.
systems are duplicatable. So if
Exactly.
you learn
Exactly.
a system, you can replicate and duplicate that system.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was I guess the second transformation in my life, and
Mm,
I did that again. I mean, I studied, I practiced, I went in deep. And then a few years ago, so we're talking like about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I'd been doing
okay.
it as well, like I mean, pretty much full time.
Yeah.
And then I I met a guy who actually said to me that he said two things. He said number one, he said that you are very selfish. And I was
Mm,
like, what you
wow.
mean? He's like, yeah, you're very selfish. You're successful at what you do in terms of investing.
Yeah.
But you're only doing it enough for yourself and your family. I mean, yes, you get to travel the world, but it's only good for you. You're making enough
Right.
for yourself and your
Right.
family,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like that's selfish. And then he said another thing. He said, you have to realize that right now you're still a hustler. And he says, see, as a hustler, you might make a couple $1 million here and there. He
Yeah.
says, but if you really want to transform the world, if you want to change the world, like economically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
you have to start playing in the realms of the billionaires, the billion
Mm-hmm.
dollars.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can't
Mm-hmm.
be a billionaire as a hustler. It says hustlers don't earn
Interesting.
billions.
Interesting.
But you
Mm-hmm.
have to be a businessman. You have to build a business, a big business. That is
Right.
how you earn billions. A big business that can serve hundreds of thousands of people. It
Yeah.
says you have to build that ecosystem, and that's how you earn. I mean, that was about the same time I had my first child, my daughter. So I think I
Mm,
was in that space where I was in that legacy thinking space. Again, this was not a new transformation where I decided that, you
exactly.
know what, I wanted to build a business
Yeah.
could be a part of that legacy that I could
Yeah.
point to that can literally transform the world. So 3 years ago was when we first launched the investment fund, Africa Development Capital. So again, like I
Nice.
said, so I've been full time I started investing 10 years ago,
Yeah.
but I've been full time in it for 8 years, for the past 8 years.
Okay. Good
Then
stuff.
3 years
Good
ago,
stuff.
we decided to take it to the next level to say, hey, you know what? We're going to build an actual fund. And for me, being originally from Nigeria,
Yeah.
I know a lot of the challenges that are plagued, I could say, with
Mm,
Nigeria and the continent as a whole, Africa.
yeah. Yeah.
I want to be part of that revolution that wakes up Africa and
Exactly.
transforms Africa to her
Yeah.
greatest potential. So that was the idea of the company. Our idea was to be a bridge that bridged
Mm,
North America initially to Africa in terms of moving investment funds to transform the continent. Going
nice.
at the end of the day, to really be that bridge, that financial
Yeah.
bridge, Africa to the rest of the world, and Africa
You're right.
the world back to Africa,
Africa. Yeah.
financial
Nice.
financial bridge. So yeah, so that was sort of like, I guess, the third level of transformation for me was
Of transfer.
that. So we've been doing
Wow.
that for 3 years.
Yeah.
It's been an absolute joy. It's been a blessing, and I've
Right.
been excited. And throughout the process, again, like I said, education has been sort of like my core.
Mm,
My core, truly, I love to share. I love to.
mm, mm.
There's some things money can't buy. Like
Yes,
someone
that's
saying,
true.
"Thank you for changing my life." Like, you know. I hold like a level of joy from
Mm,
able to be a part of somebody else's story. And I say this to all my clients all the time. I say, look,
mm,
I'll take the money, but I don't do it for the money. I do it for
mm.
to be a part of your story. So tomorrow, when you
Ooh, love
story
that.
how your life changed. Just the same way, no matter where I go tomorrow, when I tell the story
Yeah.
of how my life changed, I always talk about Dove Brown. She is
Yes, exactly.
my story forever.
Exactly.
I want from now, when you tell your story about
Mm.
your transformation, you say it all started the day I crossed paths
That's-
with a guy called Osamede Arunde. That's what I do
Yeah,
to
that's
champion that
amazing.
legacy.
Yeah,
So like I
yeah.
said, teachers always. I've been teaching for 5 years now. I have
Wow.
over 5,000 students around the world. It's
Amazing.
something like 70 countries, I think, right now. Last time I
Wow. Wow. Wow.
so, I love it. I love it. So I
Yeah.
do courses, like I said, in the stock market space. I teach courses in sales, in personal development, and teach
Mm.
courses in the currency market as well. So
Yeah. Oh man, that's really quite something. And I think the amazing thing, as you just mentioned, is that it started with information. It started with learning, knowing something that maybe you didn't know before. And I think that there are so many people who are in those same shoes, that they feel like, oh man, I know there's more for me. I know that there's something else that I'm not just fitting this typical stereotype, or I know that there's something else I'm supposed to do, but just to understand how to, right? The how to is always maybe the part that's missing. So
yeah.
that's really, really quite an amazing story,
And it's
actually.
funny that you say that because the fact is, I heard a guy once say this, and this is the fact that
Yeah.
education comes before compensation. A
Oh,
lot
please
of
say that
people,
again. Say that again.
education comes before compensation. Too many people are
Powerful.
out there wanting to be compensated for the
Mm,
first. I think it was Alex Good Energy. I think that's his name. That's the guy who said it.
yeah.
You got to get educated first. You
Yeah.
got to know how things work.
Mm-hmm.
Then,
Mm-hmm.
look, the thing is that people don't even know what opportunity looks like.
Yes.
If you don't know
Yes.
what opportunity looks like, opportunity could be literally walking around you every day and you can't even identify it.
Right.
We must first learn to know what it looks like.
Mm,
How does it
mm,
smell like? When you
mm.
smell it, you know, I can
This
smell
is
it around me.
opportunity. Yeah. 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 Wow. That is so true. That is so, so true.
And a lot of times it starts with as simple as finding a coach, finding a mentor. So I started playing
Yeah.
golf last year, right?
Mm, mm.
And I would always go with the boys. We just go, swing here and there, just for fun. I
Yeah.
had zero clue what I was doing. But I was just a
Right.
fun place we went to. And
Right.
then my wife gave me the gift of a coach, right? I think it
Mm,
was, I can't remember what it was. I think maybe it was random. She's like, hey, I got you something. And it was a coach, it
yeah.
was one of those gift cards for a coaching session. And I promise you,
Mm.
after my first day with the coach, I went to
Hmm.
play with my boys. They were like, yo, who are
what
like,
what happened to you?
like where did you go? Like, have you been lying to us? Like, but my point is, it doesn't matter
That's
if it's
so
a game
true.
of golf or
Yeah.
if it's in your financial life. I don't care if
Right.
it's in your marriage. I don't care if it's in your business. Look,
Mm.
Jim Rohn used to say, we must make life a study. He says, if you want to be successful, study
Study
success.
success.
If you
Yeah.
want to be healthy, study health.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's a game of coach of golf or the game of life. A
Mm.
coach makes all the difference. Why? It
Yeah.
comes back to what we're saying initially. There are systems. Success are built on principles, systems that are duplicatable.
Right.
Then when you play golf, the coach tells you, hey,
Exactly.
stand like this, hold the
Hit like
club like this,
this. Yeah.
use this, do
Yeah.
it's a system. And if you
Yeah.
duplicate it, you are more
Mm.
likely to duplicate the success as well.
That's that is so true, and it is so necessary. Even me personally, in my own life, I found that having like a business coach as well. Shout out to Noel Roland if he's watching this. Noel, like those they start opening you to ideas, to systems, and even the world that we live in today with the technology that we have today. You may not have just through YouTube and through before I ever had my first business coach, just through YouTube, that like you say, the Jim Rohns, the Tony Robbins, the Brian Tracy's, all these people of the world who are for free, or right. All you have to do is just have internet access, and you're able to learn from these. So I love the fact that you mentioned the power of coach, the power of mentorship, and for you personally, I'm sure that has paid a lot of dividends as
Oh
well.
yes, even till
Yeah,
now. I
even
just
till
hired another
now,
coach
exactly.
literally maybe 3 weeks ago to just help me with
Wow.
time management, to help me
Yeah.
because The guy on the first floor, think about a hotel building, 10
Mm,
floors.
mm,
The guy on the first floor, second floor, can
mm.
never see what the guy on the 10th floor sees.
Oof. So true. Yep.
The guy on the 10th floor is
Yep.
telling you, just go. You're going to be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's perspective. You always see someone
Exactly.
a different perspective. Like,
Yes.
here is where you are, here's where you need to go, and here's how you could go there. Right. So
Mm, mm.
system, I'm telling you, you get
It's
someone, it saves you time, saves you money.
yes.
And honestly, we don't get to, I mean, hope we pray we get to live, we will live a long and fruitful, you know, to a longer fruitful age.
Mm,
But even at 100 years, 120 years, life is still short, right? Like,
mm.
I think it was Jim Rohn who says, if you are 30 and you live to be 100, you only have about 70 summers left.
Yeah.
So quit thinking you have 70 years.
Wow.
You have
That's a good
70.
perspective.
The point I'm trying to make is that we don't get to live forever.
Ever,
So
yes.
we have to figure out, how do we condense time
Mm,
frames? Every moment that you are not living in your fullness, someone
mm-hmm.
is getting hurt because you are not
Oof.
living your fullness. Like, when you start thinking about that, it's like
Yeah.
there is a sense of urgency. So it's
Yes.
important I learn today to be my best self today,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then evolve from there. There's no time for
Man.
10 years trying to figure it out. I'm like, sliding here, sliding there.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. That's so
Yeah.
powerful. Yeah, that is so, so powerful. And like you said, a lot of our destinies are tied to other people's destinies, other people's
Oh,
blessings,
it's like a
right?
puzzle. You need to
Yeah,
put in your piece so the next guy can put in his piece. The fact that your piece is not there is affecting the board.
exactly.
All the problems in the
Oh
world, you are
man.
part of the problems in the world right now because you
Yeah.
are putting your piece in.
In Wow, that is such a good perspective. That is a very, very, very good perspective. And it's true because once your piece is not in, someone else's piece is like, man, why isn't this thing
Look,
going
look,
in?
look, you know how many people are going to be blessed by your podcast? If you never
Mm,
did it, they would never have
exactly.
heard it.
Yeah,
So the whole time, God, the universe was waiting for you to create the podcast and
yeah.
start from where you are and message people that you don't even know and say,
Right.
hey, you know what? Let's do something. Let's share your
Yeah,
message.
yeah. Man, that's so
Just
true.
doing that alone is going to have a ripple effect.
Effects, exactly, exactly. So, and I think both doing and not doing has a ripple effect.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow, 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 wow. That is very, very powerful and just really, really mind blowing. And so to that point, you say that, and actually I see it even as you're speaking about it, I'm like, it's so true because once you go to like a business coach, mentorship, whatever the case may be, this person is now taking their 10, 20, 30, 40 years of
Oh,
lessons, of
condensing time
experience,
frames, condensing time.
and
A
they're
guy lived for
getting it
50
in one
years.
in one
Yeah,
sitting.
a guy lived for 50 years. He was rich, he was poor. He met people, he learned lessons. He takes
Yeah.
his 50 years of content, of
Mm-hmm.
life lessons. He puts it
Mm.
in a book. The book is
Mm-hmm.
$20, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to spend $20.
Man,
Oh, you
so
don't.
true.
Oh, you know what? You decide you don't want to read it. That 50 years of condensed
Jeez.
just by spending the 4-6 hours to read that book over whatever 3 months,
Mm,
whatever,
mm,
can
mm,
literally save you
mm.
years.
Wow, so so true
This
because
is
he's going to teach you his
oh
mistakes, the
50
things that he
years.
missed, the thing.
Oh.
Wow,
We learn
powerful,
from one or
very
two
very powerful.
experiences. Our experiences are other people's. Other people's are
Mm.
cheaper.
Yeah, very true, very very true. That is very very true. So on this message of learning, you yourself, as you said, you have been very blessed to have this position that you have in the investment world over the last 10 years, 8 years full time, and now you're teaching. So for people who do not know, or maybe who don't understand the importance of investing or how to get started in investing, there's a lot of and again, it's really just information, right? So I'd love for you to shed some light on the importance of investing and how to get started. And I know there's a lot we're going to get into, like crypto and all these other things, but just as a basis, yeah.
I mean, what is investing? Investing is giving
Mm-hmm.
your money an opportunity to work hard for you. Think about it this way. Most people go
Mm.
to work, they work 40 hours a week, whatever it is. Their
Yeah.
money is just lounging in the bank
Right.
account, making 3%, just lounging, chilling. Your job is to make sure that money goes out and work just
And
as hard
works.
as you or work harder.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the idea of investing. It's the
Yeah.
it's the idea of taking a piece of what you've earned,
Yeah.
giving it to somebody else. Think about this. Think about. Let me ask you a question.
Hmm.
Would you like to have Elon Musk work for you?
Yeah, that would be great.
Why? Tell me why.
Because of his what he's doing, his ideas, what he has been able to execute on, what he's been able to do, and the knowledge that he has, the skills
The
that he
team he
has,
has, the
the
skills.
team that he
The
has.
question
Yeah.
is, would you? So the question is, do you know that do you know that you could actually be partnering up with Elon Musk right now
Hmm.
by buying shares of Tesla? That is what you do when you invest in the
Right.
public market and buy a share of Tesla. By buying a
Yeah.
share of Tesla, you are now a part owner,
Right.
an equity stake
Right.
in Tesla. So when Elon Musk goes to work in the morning, when the
Mm-hmm.
marketing team goes out there, they draw a new car, they're figuring out the batteries. That is your money working hard for you. You are
Mm.
at work or you are at home. Your money is working with Tesla to get more money for you.
Exactly.
That is the
Right.
idea of investing. Now the question is, why should you?
Mm-hmm.
I've come to realize that in life there is no you should do anything. You shouldn't do anything. Do whatever you
Mm-hmm.
want to do. But here's an idea
Facts.
to consider.
Yeah.
You see, I've come to learn that money, cash,
Mm-hmm.
fiat currency
Mm.
is what we refer to as a melting ice cube.
Okay. Why do you say so?
It's losing value every year.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
It's like economics. When the supply of anything increases,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the value or the price goes down.
Goes
That's
down.
something to
Yeah.
know. And don't take my word for it. Google this when you get off the call. The
Yeah.
dollar has lost as much as 90% from 1913 till now in value. It's the public information. People are just not looking. It's public information, right? Since the dollar went off the gold standard in
Mm.
1971, I think I have a video on this on Instagram, so
Yeah. Yeah.
you can check it out. Since then, if you peg it to gold, which it left as a gold standard, if you look at the
Mm-hmm.
value of gold back then, $40, the value of gold today, 1800, you see that families are working twice, three times, four times as hard.
It's
My
true.
brother, they're working so
Yep.
hard
Yep. Yeah.
to just
Yeah.
afford
Yeah.
the same standard of living or less.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because fiat is stealing your buying power.
Mm. Mm.
Cash, I, all of us, we are in an abusive relationship with fiat currency
Hmm.
because the fiat is a melting ice cube. It's losing value every
Like
day.
every day.
It's melting in your hands. So that means you will have to find a way to protect your buying power for yourself and for your family. If not, you will continue to work harder and
Harder and
harder
harder.
and keep less and less.
Yeah.
Why? Because inflation is going to
Hmm.
keep going up. And when you start,
Hmm.
it's like the government printing billions of dollars to support the economy, or the American government printing
Huh.
trillions of
Huh.
dollars in stimulus.
Yeah.
You should be that's inflation is going to kick in.
Yeah. 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 The
There's no
supply
way.
is going up.
Thank you. Thank you. There's no way you're going to produce that much supply
Yeah.
and expect the value to remain the
To
same.
remain the
This is
same.
why we're seeing companies today like
Mm.
Elon Musk, Tesla, putting
Yeah.
one
Yeah. Yeah.
to Bitcoin. I don't truly think they care about Bitcoin,
Mm.
frankly, but I
Mm.
think they care about their money. And so you too. You should care
Mm-hmm.
enough about your money to say, how do I grow it? And how
Mm-hmm.
do I protect my buying power for myself and my family so that I could truly now attain financial freedom? Because you know what, and I say this a lot in my videos, I don't believe you can be truly free without having financial freedom.
Mm.
So without financial freedom, you are a slave to something or someone.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yes, because I always tell people, I'm like, okay, look, you don't like your job or you can't leave. What does that make you? You're a slave to that job because you really
Literally.
don't like it, but you can't
Literally.
leave.
Oh,
You can't
wow.
leave.
That's true. That's true. That's true. And you hear that all the time. Oh man, I hate my job. I hate
You
what.
can't leave.
Wow. He's actually a
How
slave if you
about
look at that.
we
Yeah.
try something different? How about we
Different.
think outside the box
Mm.
to say, is there a way I can leverage compound interest? I mean, we've heard people like, Warren Buffett talks about he created his wealth. Bro, man, he created his wealth through compound interest.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean by opportunities are all around. They're
Yeah.
opportunities. We're just not because we don't know. We haven't been trained and taught how to see opportunities or what
Mm.
they look like or
Mm.
smell it. We miss it all the
We
time.
miss
Warren
it.
Buffett said, you could Google this, that the way he created his wealth is by leveraging compound interest. The
Right.
question is, how many people have gone out there to go investigate what is
Investigate.
compound interest and how they can use it for their own advantage?
Hmm.
I did some computation the other day that if you invested $500 consistently every month
Yeah.
and you average a 20% return every year for that 20 years,
Mm.
the $500 you've invested every month for that 20 years will turn into $1.1 million by leveraging compound interest and
Wow.
compounding that returns every year.
Every year.
1.1 million for 20 years. Yet some people work for 40 hours for 40 years and they
Hmm.
still cannot achieve freedom.
Exactly.
So you got to
Exactly.
ask yourself, what do you want?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because
Man.
they say insanity is doing the same thing over and over
Over and
again,
over again.
same results. If
Mm.
you're not getting the results you want, then maybe perhaps you should look at
Hmm.
something different. Think
Something
outside the box.
else. Exactly. Exactly that. And also when you see it happening from generation to generation, you said something so powerful about like the inflation. And you hear this all the time that, like, for example, the price of when you used to buy something 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago to buy today, it's like, wait, that has ticked up a lot, right?
Gold
And it's
was
going up.
$40 50 years ago.
Look
One
at that.
ounce. 1 ounce. So it wasn't like it was purer, it was bigger,
Yeah.
same size, same gold.
And
Right?
how much would it be today?
18, almost 1900, $1,880, I believe is today's price. And
Wow.
that's USD
Wow.
from $40. So
From
gold didn't become bigger. That one
no.
ounce is 1 ounce, is one
Mm-hmm.
ounce, is one
It's
ounce.
still the same ounce.
What happened?
Mm.
The value of your
The
money
value of our money has been going
years
down.
has gone down.
Wow.
And the
Wow.
more they
Wow.
print, the more
Yeah.
it's
It's just gonna keep going down
so
and
I
down.
mean, you could let someone else decide the fate of your future, your financial future, and the financial future of your family, or you
Mm.
can step up and get educated
Mm.
so you can learn how to protect yourself, and so you could learn how to be truly financially free. But
Yeah, this is why I am so excited about this podcast, because we can start bringing conversations like these and topics like these that maybe someone would watch this and, like you say, that legacy 10, 20, 30 years, some grandchildren will say, hey, because my dad watched this guy's video, or this is why I'm really, really excited about this, because it's really needed to have conversations like this. Otherwise, we are going to be blindsided. People are going to be blindsided and wonder what happened.
yes,
And yeah,
I'm sorry, I
yeah.
tend to talk too much, but
Please
it's
go
something that
ahead. I love it.
it's something that you cannot do. Sometimes I'm like, you know what, like, bro, because I'm so like when I think about it, I'm like, don't you see what's going on? Look,
Right,
the stock
right.
market, for example, for past 100 years, there have
Yeah,
been families that have
mhm,
been literally profiting from that market year in, year out. They have
yeah,
taught it to their
yeah,
children. Their children have
yeah.
year
Exactly,
in, year out. We're talking
exactly.
5, 6 generations after, because their father taught it
Mm,
to them,
mm-hmm.
their
And they're
grandfather taught it
passing
to
it
their
down.
father. They have learned to profit from this system. But at the end of the day, there are still people like you and I, where our parents didn't teach us anything about the stock market.
Mm,
In
right,
school, learning about the stock
right.
market. Here's
Yeah.
the problem: if you learn nothing and you know nothing, you're going to teach nothing to your kids. That is dangerous. That is
Wow,
dangerous.
wow,
If
wow,
you're going to teach
wow,
the
wow,
nothing that you know about
wow. The one thing
financial,
that you know.
no, you're going to teach your nothing. You're going to teach that nothing to your kids. Your kids are going to teach that nothing to their kids. And 4 generations from now, you wonder why they're poor and broke and living in the
Man.
worst part of the cities. It's not a coincidence.
Ay, ay, ay. Oh,
You
man,
have the
Osamede.
chance today to change
Change
that.
that.
Because the knowledge, the education that you learn today about these
Mm-hmm,
markets,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
your kids are going to see. Kids learn fast. They're going to be
Yeah,
like, my education, for example, your kid's going to a private school. He realizes that, look, my school was paid for because my
yeah.
dad invested in this
Exactly,
cryptocurrency thing.
exactly,
He learned about
exactly.
early stage investments, early stage technologies, and he invested. Your
Yeah.
kid is going to be investing when he's 14, 12,
Man,
16,
right.
19. Your kid is a millionaire, 18.
Exactly.
He's going to teach his kid. His kid
He's
by 10 already
That's
has a
it. That's
million
it.
dollar
That's
account,
it.
like a
That's it.
trust. 4 generations from now, your kids are living in the best part of the world, in the best
Yeah,
part of the world.
yeah, yeah.
People are calling them lucky now.
Wow. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I tell you, oh man, that is so true. Because a lot of what you see in the world is literally exactly what you just said. People have benefited because you're going to pass it down to them until, so if whatever you're passing down is what will be received, right? And oh my God,
I
that
mean,
is
you
so
sit and
powerful.
think about it. Your
It's
parents
so
brought
powerful.
you, but
Yeah.
the reason why you're not investing in the market is because no one taught you.
Taught you that. So you
See, kids
Man.
don't lack ability. What they lack is teachers.
Right.
No
Mm.
one taught you. That's why.
Mm-hmm. And they don't teach this in school. They don't teach this.
You taught
They
them,
don't teach
and this
finances.
I'm telling you, it's like, that's what I keep telling my friends. I'm like, wake up!
Mm, mm,
Don't
mm,
teach them
mm,
nothing you know to your kids.
mm.
It is a slippery slope, and it is dangerous, and it would
Yeah,
end up badly.
yeah, big time,
There is
big
no
time.
bright side to this.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. And you can see all across the world that's what's happening because they're just being passed down. But in that hindsight of that, there are people who are watching this, who are listening to this, who may be that person in that generation who will be the one that changes it
I
because of
hope
what.
so. That's why I'm doing this.
Yeah,
That's
and
why I'm
I'm
taking
glad
time
that
out
you.
of my family. I'm taking time
Ex-
out of my business to
right.
here with you. Apart from the fact
Yeah.
that you're a great guy, but that's secondary. Right?
Exactly.
The primary
Exactly.
reason is because I'm hoping that someone's going to listen to this and say
Mm-hmm.
enough is enough. They're going
Mm-hmm.
to draw the battle line on the ground and say today it ends. You see, the
Yeah.
day you make a decision is a powerful day.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that decision can be born out of disgust. I think it was Jerome who said
Yes.
that sometimes
Yes.
disgust is probably the best
Yeah.
decision maker. When you
Yeah.
realize that I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with working hard and not having enough. And
And
being scared of the future
man.
and knowing you already know you have
Yeah.
nothing to give to your kids. You already
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But yet, bro, do you realize that we are today, 2021,
Mm-hmm.
we are living in the best time. There's never been as much prosperity on earth as there is. There's so much prosperity right now. We are literally in an ocean of abundance.
Yeah.
But if you
Yeah.
show up with a teaspoon to this ocean, that's your
That's
problem.
what's that's yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Don't worry about the guys coming with buckets and trucks, and because it is an ocean of abundance.
Mm.
Like my mentor will say, I highly recommend that you trade your teaspoon for at least a bucket.
I love that. I love that. Definitely.
2021 is a great year. We're in
Definitely.
great, prosperity all around.
Around. It's true. It's
Because
true.
the
The
amount of,
opportunity is there.
ooh,
The
I'm
opportunities are there.
excited.
Right? Exactly. There's so much opportunity. And
So
I
much
think
cash flowing around.
exactly.
And money is just
Exactly.
looking for a good home, a good place to
That's
stay.
it. That's
Money is
it.
all around. Money just wants to be in a good home, in
Mm.
someone that's going to take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
just got to
Man.
show money that my home is the best.
It's worth
Money loves me. They know that
exactly.
if they come to me, they'll be clothed, they'll be sheltered, they'll grow.
Right.
Now they're gonna go tell their friends, you gotta come be with Osamede.
That's it.
Now they're
That's
leaving
it.
every other
That's it.
person, they're coming to me.
They're coming to
They
you.
know I take care of them.
Yeah, man.
I help them grow.
That's it. That's really it. And I just love that. I really, really do love that because of the fact that these conversations like this can spark something that leads to that generation change, that change. And like you said earlier, we are talking about those puzzle pieces that are missing. That could help a puzzle piece. So we've talked a bit about investing and, like you mentioned, stocks, right? And that's a great. So okay, let me put it like this. How would you suggest? There are a lot of different options, whether it's the stock market, ETFs, yeah, or cryptocurrencies. A lot of different opportunities available right now for investments. So for someone who maybe wants to get started, I think actually the first thing I'm sure you'd advise would be to educate yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Got it. Number one,
Yeah, exactly.
education.
Yeah.
But again, I get your point that if someone wants to get started, what's a good place to start getting
Hmm.
educated? Where I think in today's world, 2021, I think that there's two worlds literally running parallel. We
Hmm.
have the centralized world and we have the decentralized world.
Mm.
Centralized world is the traditional world we live in today, right?
Hmm.
There are central entities making decisions and essentially growing that world. But I
Yeah.
think that the world is gradually opening up to this decentralized world where power
Mm.
is now being shared
Exactly.
with this
Yeah.
blockchain
That's what's
style
happening.
projects. So I
Yeah.
think any serious students should be learning about both worlds,
Yeah.
about the centralized world, which is sort of like the base
Yeah.
stock market, right?
Hmm.
Where we get to partner with all these companies currently shaping the world, right?
Yeah.
But there's stay-at-home orders right now all around Canada. I mean, stay-at-home means more people are going to be home watching Netflix. That means Netflix is going to have new subscribers. You should be thinking about this changing world. See, I always tell my students, I say we must observe the changing world.
Yeah.
And we must learn to partner with those who are shaping it and
Mm-hmm.
those who are benefiting from the changes that comes along with it.
Yes.
So who is benefiting
Yes.
from today's changing world? You think about
Right.
guys like Amazon, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if all the malls
Mm-hmm.
are closed, someone is buying
Someone
from
is
Amazon. More people are buying from Amazon. Think
right
about Zoom. We are on Zoom
on
right
Zoom
now.
right
How many
now.
companies that have to go
Exactly.
get Zoom membership because they have to
Exactly.
compete, right? Think
Yeah.
about the Microsofts, that have the cloud services with the Azure
Mm-hmm.
service. Think
Mm-hmm.
about the semiconductors in today's world. I mean, almost everything we're using are using these chips.
Yes.
So there's a centralized world. Then you need to learn that this world is changing. Observe the changing world.
Yeah.
Find out who is benefiting from that change and who is
How can-
pioneering the future of that change. Look at
That's
companies like
right.
Tesla talking about autonomous vehicles. The fact that
Exactly.
in the future you
Exactly.
could buy a vehicle, it will take you to work in the morning, drop you off, and go work in like an Uber autonomous kind of fleet. Work for you throughout the day, make you
Right.
money, come back
Money.
and pick you up at the end of the day, take you home
Yeah.
and continue working, and then come back and go charge itself in your house. Just go
Wow.
into the charging charges. Think about that world.
That's the future.
Who is
Yeah.
developing that world? How can
Mm-hmm.
I partner with these people? How can I partner
Mm.
with the lithium mines that are going to supply the lithium for the batteries for the electric
Mm-hmm.
vehicles? How can I
Mm-hmm.
supply partner with the nickel manufacturers, with the copper manufacturers? How could I
Mm. Mm.
partner up with
Mm.
the semiconductor manufacturers? How do I
Mm-hmm.
partner up with the companies shaping the world that I live in, the centralized world?
Right.
That's where you
Exactly.
start. Stock market
Yeah.
is the perfect base,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It gives you the opportunity to partner up with these companies because a lot of these companies that are shaping the world are what we call public companies. That means they
Yeah.
are traded publicly. Anyone
Exactly.
can buy
Exactly.
a share, equity,
Of that.
ownership
Mm-hmm.
into them. Number
Mm-hmm.
one. Number two, we have to look at a decentralized world. Think
Mm-hmm.
about it like, I don't want to call it Internet 3.0, but let's think about it this way. At a point in time, I'm sure you remember the Nokia 3310. Remember those green screens?
Yes. I do. I do.
Imagine if someone walked up to you there and told you about apps and the fact that
Mm.
your phone someday will be doing video calls and
Right.
it'll be as powerful as your computer. You'd be like, get out of here. What are you talking about?
Uh-huh. Right.
That was the first version. Then we had the second version where that actually came to
Came
pass,
to
right?
pass. Right.
I mean, look at your phones today. Your phones are more powerful than computers from back in the day,
Yes.
right? We're having
Yes.
all these apps, video call. People are talking about we're going to a third revolution, which is going
Mm-hmm.
to really be powered by blockchain. Now we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
decentralized autonomous networks. We're talking about AI powered. We're talking about
Yeah.
blockchain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We have to learn about that world as well. That's where things like
Yeah.
cryptocurrency comes into play
Exactly.
because a lot of
Exactly.
the blockchain world is powered by these currencies that are created by cryptographic codes. That's where
Mm.
we get the term cryptocurrency from,
Cryptocurrency.
to understand
Okay,
both
got you.
worlds. I think any
Right.
senior students owes it to themselves to understand
To
both
look
worlds.
both. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean,
And
cryptocurrency today gives you the opportunity. It's like someone whispering to your ears,
hmm,
right? When Apple first started, hey Bob, go buy Apple. Look into
yeah.
Apple. Well, I
Yeah.
can't say goodbye because I'm not an investment advisor, right? I can't
Right.
give investment
Right.
advice. This
Ex-
is just for educational purposes. A bit of a
exactly.
disclaimer.
Disclaimer. We'll put that
But
there as well at the bottom.
imagine someone says, Bob, when Amazon first
Yeah.
started, hey, Bob,
Yeah.
Amazon is going to change the world.
Hmm.
Look into Shopify.
Hmm.
Shopify is
At
going to
the
change
at the very beginning.
at the very
Yeah.
beginning. Imagine if you listen to one of those whispers and you
Yeah.
listen to Apple.
Yeah.
Like, the conversation we're going to be having is different. You know what I
Very
mean?
different, very, very different. And it's so
It's
funny that
different.
you mentioned that, because even as we're going to talk more, I love us to just dive deeper, especially with regards to cryptocurrency. And back in 2017, like late 2017, this is when crypto was getting more of a buzz and everything. And I worked with a friend of mine who were working at this real estate firm at the time. And this guy always used to have his main work window, but there was always a side window open of like cryptocurrency and trading and all that. So I look at this guy every day. He's talking about this crypto. I'm like, look, man, but
It
like,
was giving you the
so
whispers.
he was giving me the whispers. That's right. And at first I was skeptical because there was, again, back then it was very, very fresh. And eventually I said, look, I'll just buy and hold. Why not? And I think back then Bitcoin this is when hitting 10K was a big deal. Now we're talking about it hitting 50,000. And I said, you know what, why not? Why not just invest something? I'll leave it in there. Even Ethereum was, I think, maybe around 700 at the time, which is skyrocketed, both of them since. And these are the things that you're talking about, right? Like the whispers. And thank God I listened and I heard. By the way, shout out to Zach if Zach is watching. I appreciate you. And I listened, and over time, and funny enough, I put it there and I almost just forgot about it. I just left it there to work and to do its thing. And over time, I'm looking back, I'm like, wow, look at how the humongous appreciation of that currency. So I think cryptocurrency is really, sorry, go ahead, you're going to say
Yeah, no,
something.
no, sorry to cut you short, but I wanted to
Yeah.
really point something that there's something you said there. And I
Mm.
think and I think once you start becoming an educator, you understand that when you become an investor, you are
Yeah.
not playing the get rich quick scheme game.
Mm-hmm.
You're not a
Mm-hmm.
gambler.
Mm.
You are
Right.
investing in a project
Exactly.
that you know needs time to further
Time.
develop.
That's
It's
right.
not get rich quick. And that's why
No.
when people are, I'm always very careful when especially when I start educating my clients, like, look, no, you have to understand what this is. Bitcoin was not created so you could get rich quick. Bitcoin was
Yeah.
created to help you first protect your buying power.
Mm.
Understand that.
Mm.
It
Mm.
was
Mm.
created to protect you from the abusive nature of fiat currency.
Yeah.
Understand that.
Yeah.
Yes, because you're not early to the space, and as the space appreciate because of the limited quantity of Bitcoin, the nature of it, it will appreciate in value. So you could
Exactly.
earn a lot of money
Yeah.
as it
Yeah.
appreciates. But you
Yeah.
have to understand that progress takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Just the same way when the internet first started, it was dial-up. Bro, people
Mm-hmm.
didn't want
Mm-hmm.
of that. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because the
Exactly.
internet was trying to transmute data
Yeah.
over lines that were created to transmit voice.
Right. So it was like a step up.
So, but it took time. Then the network
Exactly.
evolved, and today we're talking about 5G.
Exact.
The blockchain space is what we call early stage.
Very early
It's still
stages.
growing.
Mm, mm,
It's going to have
mm,
its
mm,
challenges, volatility, this, that. Yes,
mm.
you're early to the. You have to You have to have that long-term mentality.
Mentality. Exactly. Exactly.
Not saying you can't
Exactly.
make. I mean, I've had projects I've invested in and literally overnight has done crazy returns.
Right.
However, it is the wrong mindset to go into it expecting that. You have to understand why it was first created.
Yeah. That's
And you have to
right.
understand that this is a real project
Yeah.
that has development teams
Over
literally
time.
working on it. It takes
Every day. Yeah.
for certain
Exactly.
changes
Exactly.
to happen. But we know that the
Mm-hmm.
probability of those changes happening are very high. So,
Mm-hmm.
so you said that, and I wanted to really commend you for that and really point that to the listeners so they
Yeah.
understand this is not a get rich
It
quick
reached.
scheme.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is about protecting your
Yeah.
buying power first.
Exactly. Exactly.
And then second, because you came in early, just the same way if you came in early with Apple or
Yeah.
with Tesla or with one of these
Right.
companies, you did very well. The
Yeah.
same way. It will, as I appreciate you, will do very well.
Yeah,
And let's
exactly,
put priority. That's
exactly.
priority.
I love that. I love that you pointed that out. And I think it's a very important thing, especially with this crypto space, because right now a lot of people are thinking of it as like a great get rich quick scheme or get very, but to your point, that like that first point about it being that buying power, right? Because of the fact, like you mentioned earlier, because of the currency that we're having today,
It's a
is
melting ice
losing
cube.
value. Melting ice cube, as you say. I love that analogy. I don't think that
Yeah, I heard
analogy
it from
will ever leave my head.
I learned it from a guy who bought $1.1 billion in Bitcoin, right?
Woo!
Was the
Wow.
CEO of
Wow.
MicroStrategy. They put
Yeah.
$1 billion. And when they asked him, he said, look, at the end of the day, the dollar is a melting ice cube.
Yeah,
1.1 billion.
exactly.
You know how much investigation he must have gotten his team to do?
That's
This is a
right.
privately held company. Do you know what it takes for all the board to now unanimously agree that yes,
Mm,
let's do this. Let's take a part of. And you know what's funny? Today now, the appreciation in Bitcoin is
yeah.
greater than the profit the company made last year.
So just from their Bitcoin investment.
But they didn't
Right.
buy it as a get rich quick.
Exactly.
They
It
bought
was.
it because they understood they're trying to protect their buying power.
Yes.
But obviously, because the space is evolving and it's a limited supply asset,
Yeah.
the value is going to go up. You're
Right.
still going to do well.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And just
I love
you
that.
could do very well. I'll give you an example just to kind of explain how well you could do. I invested in a project in the
Mm-hmm.
cryptocurrency space. It's called Binance.
Mm-hmm.
When it first got started, I paid 15 cents for that project.
Mm-hmm.
Today, as I speak to you, guess how much it is?
How much? Oh my goodness.
$125.
Wow.
We're talking about over 70,000%
My God.
in four
That's
years.
crazy.
This is what is possible.
Yeah.
But let's take
Exactly.
priority
Yeah.
first. Education first. We understand
Yeah.
why,
What? Yeah. Exactly.
how it works. What problem are they solving? See, when I invested in Binance, I understood what the problem they were solving. They were creating a place where people could
Mm-hmm.
exchange one cryptocurrency for another. Today it sounds almost like,
Okay.
oh, yeah. But back then it was a real problem
Yeah.
that they
Oh, right,
solved. And
right,
I said,
right.
why not I partner with this company? No
That's
matter how
it.
small. I
That's
could have
it.
invested $10, $20. It doesn't matter. The idea
Mm-hmm.
was that I saw opportunity, I saw an idea and said, hey, why don't I not partner with Mr. CZ? He seems like a bright
Mm-hmm.
young man.
Mm-hmm.
He has the credential and he's
Yeah.
solving a problem.
A real problem.
I partnered
Exactly.
up with him.
That's
And
awesome.
3 4 years after, that partnership has done over 70,000% return.
Cent. That's
I
crazy.
can tell you stories.
That's
It's not
so
a
crazy.
one-off thing. I can tell you stories after stories. I have
Mm-hmm.
students literally, like in the past 2 years, my students in cryptocurrency
Yeah.
relatively have earned over $3 million in the past a year and a half. Let me not even say
Wow.
that past year and a half, over three
Yeah.
million.
Wow. 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 That
I
is.
literally was talking to a student this morning. He told me, he's like, I invested when not expecting anything. Like, because I always focus on long term, think long term, and think forward.
Exactly.
And he
Exactly.
was like, when he got involved, like I told him, maybe expect a 20%, growth. Yeah, keep your
Mm-hmm.
mind okay. He's been in the program for I think 2 weeks. He's
Mm-hmm.
up almost 50%. He told me, he's like, this was his actual words. I'm scared now because it has blown away
Right.
all my expectations.
Right.
I had a 20% expectation for the year. In my first 2 weeks or so, I already have done 50%. So you will get those kind of benefits. But again, you have to understand it's early stage. People are
Yeah,
going to
exactly.
speculate on it. But keeping perspective is very
Very,
important.
very important.
That's
Very,
how you
very
get buying
important.
power that you can stay. I've been in the space since 2016. I've seen
Mm.
Bitcoin go from, I was getting involved when Bitcoin was about $1,000. I've seen it go up to 20 grand,
What?
crash
Yeah.
back down to 2 grand, 3 grand. And I was
Yeah.
like, people ask, how have you been able to keep your cool?
Mm-hmm.
Because I understand that the why and the what is going on. That's
That
understand.
is
I
so,
understand
so
that it's not
powerful.
about the all of no.
Yeah, exactly.
Over
Exactly.
time, we're gonna
Mm.
see this decade, 2020, 2030, we're gonna see
Mm-hmm.
Bitcoin over, over $500,000 for sure.
Mm.
But I'm not even
Mm.
looking at that. That's not why
At
I'm
that.
buying it.
Right.
I
That buying
understand
power.
what it's doing.
Yeah. 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 Man,
I
that is
understand the
so, so interesting.
project.
Exactly. 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 Wow. That is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting perspective. And one that, to be honest, I guess I haven't heard so much of that perspective of that, like you said, that buying power that now you have because again that melting ice cube is, is happening right in front of our eyes. And like you say, the investments, they are doing very well, but that initial m- reason, the why, like you said, is core in I love that. I love
Even
that
when you
so
get in the
much.
project, you should not, like, you're not a gambler. Like I told my
Yeah,
students,
exactly,
we are not
exactly,
gamblers. We are
exactly.
investors.
Mm-hmm,
If you don't know
mm-hmm.
what the project is doing, you probably should not own it. You
Yeah,
have to put your
right.
hard-earned money to a project, and I ask you, what do they do? I don't know.
I don't know.
What
Right.
problem are they solving? I don't know. But you put
Mm,
your money that you want. You're gambling.
mm, mm, mm,
You
mm,
should
mm.
understand that this company, they say rule number one, don't lose money. Rule number two, don't
Mm-hmm.
forget rule number one. It's real, yo. It's
Mm.
real. Understand what they do, what problem they're solving, who's the team involved.
Yeah, very true.
Do they have the capacity? If a farmer is telling you to give him $1 million and he wants to build let's say he wants to build a, I don't know what example to use. He wants to build a vehicle, and this guy
Yeah,
is a corn farmer, has no clue about building a vehicle. And you look at his team. All his team are his boys that they all plant corn together.
yeah,
Would you give
exactly.
him 1 million? You're like,
No,
like,
yeah,
but people do that same decision every day. They give their money to projects. They don't even know what they do. They don't even know the projects have the team to
yeah.
execute because they are
Mm.
buying hype. And that is the one sure way to lose your money.
Wow,
Don't get me wrong.
very true.
Sometimes some people
Very
might get
true.
lucky, right? But
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
lottery,
yeah,
right? Sometimes some
yeah,
people will get lucky. But
yeah,
remember, we always talk about a system.
yeah.
It's a system that guarantees that at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, you will lose money.
Mm-hmm. Exactly,
What I try to get people
exactly.
to learn is a system that guarantees, despite the volatility, over time, you will
Mm.
make money. Take any 5 year span. Bitcoin never lost money. Any five
Yeah,
years.
exactly,
Even if you bought at the absolute
exactly,
top. When I got into
exactly.
Bitcoin at like 1200, 1300, that range,
Mm-hmm.
it was at the absolute top. It did not make any sense.
Right,
But hold on, it should
right.
be 5 years. People talk about, oh, what about the fact that it dropped from 20 grand? Those who bought at 20 grand, that was in about 2018. Pick any
Mm-hmm.
5 years. Today,
Mm-hmm.
they're still profitable.
Yeah,
Today, they're
exactly,
over
exactly.
100% profitable.
Interesting.
Take any
Exactly.
5 years, my brother. Any 5 years. It
Exactly
was
that.
impossible to lose money
Exactly.
in Bitcoin. Bitcoin.
exactly. No, it's so true, and and that's a point as well to that. When I look into investing in crypto, is that volatility. Even when I have conversations with friends, they're like, but yes, it loses this, but on these apps, like for example, Coinbase, where they'll give you the 1 month frame, but if you look at it from the 5-year frame, from the 10-year frame, you are seeing that yes, there was volatility, but it was consistently going up. So that is definitely a very, very
Same
good
thing with the
perspective.
stock market. I tell people, even my students in the stock market, I tell them, I say, look, we have one thing going for us.
Yeah.
The stock market is designed. If we look at the past 100 years of history, 100
Mm-hmm.
years. Remember, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Right?
Most don't
If
I
you
like
look
that.
at
Yeah.
the past 100 years of recorded history,
Mm-hmm.
it shows us one thing: stocks go up.
Yeah.
Look at the past
Exactly.
100 years.
Exactly.
Look at the past 100
Exactly.
years. Come on.
Exactly. Exactly.
Stock market
Just
is not.
zoom out. Don't zoom in so much. Just zoom out and you will see the trend.
And
It's
that's
so
how
true.
people,
So
nobody
true.
creates a company because they want to lose money. These
Yeah.
CEOs, trust me, even when they miss an earnings,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
They
pressure.
have lost sleep. Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
they're losing sleep. I
Yeah,
mean, look at your
exactly.
job. Think about your job and think about how much. Like if you're in a sales job, like just think.
Yeah.
They
That's
want to
right.
make money. These
That's
companies,
right.
the AMDs, the Apples, the Googles,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they want to make
Right.
money.
Right.
So they
Exactly.
might trip lower short term because of economic situation, because maybe something went wrong. It's life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
We
love
must give
that.
that flexibility.
Exactly. Allow
Go
that
start a business and
flexibility.
see if you're not going to go through challenges.
Just that. Exactly that.
But the
Exactly
idea is
that.
that if we stay with the right team, they
Mm-hmm.
will walk through the challenges, they will solve the challenges, and over
Right.
time,
Mm-hmm. That's it.
they will
That's
grow.
it. That's it. That's exactly it.
Look at the cryptocurrency space.
Yeah, no, for real. And I'm really glad that we mentioned that because that is huge. That is really, really huge. And the fact that also in this crypto space, like you say, that first bit is that knowledge, that education, knowing what you're investing in. Not just, I like what you said about the hype because there's so much hype right now. There's a lot of hype right now. So, for maybe someone who doesn't understand what the crypto space is, how would you define what a cryptocurrency is or how it works in that
A
sense?
cryptocurrency, think about it as a digital currency.
Mm-hmm.
There's a digital currency, just like any other kind of currency that we use to transact the value from
Yeah.
person to person. The
Yeah.
key difference is that these currency units are created not the way the fiat, for example, is created by government decree, where they can just
Mm-hmm.
print however they like.
Mm-hmm.
Created by a technology called cryptography. That's what we get
Mm-hmm.
cryptocurrency
Cryptocurrency.
for.
Yeah.
Now, the beauty about it, or the problem it really aims to solve, is decentralization. What the idea behind the fact that you and I should be able to do business
Mm-hmm.
without a middleman.
Middleman. Right.
If you look at the
Mm-hmm.
centralized world today, right, we need a middleman like the banks to
The
send
bank. Yeah.
value between
Exactly.
me and you. If I wanted to
Exactly.
send value to you, we need a trusted middleman, because I might say, oh, I don't trust him.
Mm-hmm.
But how about we had a technology
Mm-hmm.
that could eradicate the middleman, thereby reducing fees? And now on a blockchain system, which is really, just think about it as a big Excel sheet that just
Yeah.
records transactions,
Recording every. Mm-hmm.
we can now transact value without
Mm.
that middleman. And we can do
Right.
this using this cryptographic assets that we now
Yeah.
call cryptocurrency,
Currency.
digital currency. So
Right.
Bitcoin is the largest by market cap today of
Mm-hmm.
the cryptocurrencies. There's over
Mm-hmm.
2,000 of those. Now,
Right.
it's like the dot-com era, right? When the first internet first got started. Not all the companies made it. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact, the majority of the companies
Didn't make
didn't
it.
make it.
Yeah.
Then we still had the Apples and the Googles that did phenomenal.
Exactly.
Same
Mm-hmm.
thing in the blockchain space. We have over 2,000, 3,000 projects. The
Mm-hmm.
majority of them will not make it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But we will have those that, when the ash settles, are going to literally transform the world. We have
Yeah.
seen
That's it.
we've seen some of the biggest volatilities in the past 4 years.
Yeah.
A
That's
lot of
very
projects
well said.
so far, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the 2008 crash, 2018 crash, a lot of projects didn't make it.
They make that.
We have the companies like the Bitcoins, the Ethereum,
Yes. Yeah.
made it out
Exactly.
because they had a team, they had the resilience, they had the grit as a team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what cryptocurrency really is, right?
Yeah.
And again, a good way to look at it is to look at the real world and
Yeah.
understand that we are really trying to rebuild the new world based on the world we live in today on the blockchain. So what do
Mm-hmm.
I mean? Let's think about real world today. We have banks,
Mm-hmm.
centralized institutions that
Mm-hmm.
help us transfer to store value, invest stuff like that. Today in the decentralized world, we're having these projects now called decentralized finance. So they're like banks on the blockchain
Yeah.
where you can
Got
literally
you.
put your money into. You can
Yeah.
earn interest. You can
Mm-hmm.
borrow against it.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
You can store it. Let me even give you perspective. Now, if you put your money in the bank, in a centralized bank savings account,
Yeah.
you're making maybe if your bank loves you, 1% a year.
That's so sad.
Right? That's what
Yeah.
inflation goes. Now, in the decentralized world, there are decentralized cryptocurrencies called stable coins. So
Mm-hmm.
essentially, it's pegged to the dollars. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
one, for example, called USDC. It's
Mm-hmm.
USDC, right? The stable coin.
Okay.
Essentially, expected to no volatility. It's one to one.
Yeah.
If you take the same 10,000 you put in your savings account, you bought a USDC coin, and you invested in one of these DeFi banks, right?
Yeah.
You can
Mm-hmm.
earn as much as 10% per annum.
Wow.
Doing nothing.
Right.
You're not trading. You're just doing
Right.
just literally it's a
Just
savings.
living.
No
Interesting.
volatility. So not the
Interesting.
crazy volatility. No, it's a stable coin.
Yeah.
It's practically one to one.
Got you. So there's a lot of different ways. It's not just necessarily just buying a specific, like for example, just Bitcoin. There's a lot of going back to your point earlier of education, of learning the diff.
Let me give you an example of another project, right? In the centralized world, we have Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. We have Microsoft. We have Google. All of these
Mm-hmm.
have something in common. They have operating systems.
Yeah.
Apple we call iOS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Android.
Yeah.
Microsoft Windows. Guess what? In the blockchain world,
There's also
Ethereum. All
right.
Ethereum really is an operating system.
Oh, right. Exactly that.
So by the time
Exactly
you start
that.
understanding, comes back to education, helping you
Exactly.
understand
That's
opportunity.
right.
You
That's
now
right.
get it. You're like, oh, okay, I get it now. An
This
operating
thing.
system. The
Exactly.
question is, which operating system has the most people building on it? Because more people are building on it, that's the one that probably will succeed. That's the one that's going to be a
That will
lot
be
of demand for that
widely
too.
used.
You start
That's
realizing
it.
Ethereum is the number one today. It could change tomorrow, but today is the number one operating system in the blockchain space,
Wow.
on the cryptocurrency space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you look at the
Knowledge.
centralized world, we have Swift banking system. In the
Yeah.
decentralized, we have Ripple and Stellar Lumens.
Mm-hmm.
In the centralized world, you have oracles. In the decentralized world, we have things like Chainlink and Balancer who are trying to build oracles.
That's amazing. That's
Look at the centralized world, and you can see all this opportunity
right.
in the decentralized world. The question now is, what team? In the centralized world, we have your window, your browsers. Do you know in the centralized world, we have a browser called Brave?
Really?
Yes. And you can earn the Brave just by using the browser. It's the browser I use. I've stopped using Chrome and all of those. I've been using browser.
Yeah. Man. So there's a lot of different ways to invest in it.
But when you're educated, you now see like, oh, I get it now. So I know opportunities. The question now is, which of these projects? There's going to be a lot of oracles. There's going to be a lot of DeFi banks. There's going to be a lot of operating systems. Which of these projects have the team that can execute, that have the vision for the future?
Mm-hmm.
That's what your job is now as an investor.
Yeah.
So, Ethereum, I like the team. He's a Canadian guy. He seems to know he's ahead of his time. I trust him. I trust the team. I see they have all these developers working on it. When the ball comes out, they're fixing it. I know that I give them 5 years. I know in 5 years, they could do tremendously well. I can invested in Ethereum last year for $300. As I speak to you, it's $1,800 US.
Wow. Yeah.
And as innovation continues, it's like anything. Value is built. That's how you make money.
Exactly that.
Money comes from value.
Exactly.
Either you are offering the value or you're partnering with someone that is offering the value. The only people that make money from nothing are the mints.
That's right. Just exactly that. Exactly.
Every one of us, the rest of us, we have to earn the money.
The money. Hey,
that's so powerful. Value. Value is the name of the game.
Exactly.
If you're not creating, then you better be partnering up with someone else.
Someone who does. Right. And
your job, your value is limited.
Wow. Yeah, exactly.
Who says work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Work hard on yourself, you will earn a living. If you work hard on your job, you will earn a living. If you work hard on yourself, you will earn a fortune. The choice is really yours. Fortune or living. Too many people are just earning a living. So now work on yourself to educate yourself so you can earn a fortune.
I love that. I love that so much. And I'm sure these are some of the things that in your programs, in your courses, these are the things that you are discussing and teaching. So talk to us a little bit about that, about maybe some of your programs, what you do, and how also people can get involved. Because I'm sure after listening to this, people are gonna want to see.
And they should, or frankly,
Yeah.
they should really, because it's like what we talked about before. I'm going to condense my education that's cost me well over $100,000. I'm going to condense
Hmm.
all of that, all the mistakes I've made that you don't have to make. I'm going to
Right.
condense all that time, that 8 to
Exactly.
10 years
Exactly.
time, and I'm going to teach you. And my program, all we focus on is we teach the language of investing,
Mm.
the ABCs. Because
Hmm.
look, if we're going to speak Chinese, you
Yeah.
got to learn the ABCs of Chinese first.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we teach kids ABCs first. You don't
Hmm.
teach a kid algebra right away. But you
Hmm.
see, too many people
Hmm.
are trying to learn algebra right away. Tell me what to buy. It doesn't work that way.
Ah,
Don't tell me, give me a
right.
hot pick, one
That's
hot.
such a good point.
How you
Yeah.
trying to learn
Yeah.
algebra?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't even know the ABC. You don't even know the one, two, threes.
Yeah.
Have to first learn that's what we focus on, is to teach the ABCs of investing. So I have three programs. I have a program in the stock market right now,
Hmm.
a program in the options market, which is much more advanced. If you don't already understand stock, you shouldn't take that. Then I have
Yeah.
a program in the cryptocurrency markets. We focus on
Hmm.
teaching the ABCs, and we focus on teaching a system, a
The
duplicatable system
system.
that
That's
anyone
it.
can take
That's it.
and
And
go out there
apply.
to analyze projects themselves. We want to equip you. But you see,
Hmm.
also I realize that people don't succeed for two reasons. From my experience, like I said, taught well over 5,000 people in close to 90 countries now.
Yeah.
People don't typically succeed because of two reasons. Number one, they don't have a system they can follow. And
Mm.
number two, they don't have the right community.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
The program
Yeah.
I create
That's
is
so
a way
true.
to solve both problems. Number one,
Yeah.
we'll give you a system that is duplicatable, that you can learn from the beginning. What is blockchain? What is cryptocurrency? How do you know a good project? How do you know a good time to buy a good project? How do you know what a bad project looks like? How do you know where to find this project? The AB
Yeah.
is everything you need to know. So you could
Yeah.
go out there and be empowered.
Oh, exactly. To
But
do
then
that.
we know that there's a second reason. Most times when you leave people isolated on their own, they tend not to
Mm.
succeed long term, because you need the energy,
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
vibrations from those who are on the same journey as you.
Yeah. That's so true.
So we created a community. It's a private community for members that people could be a part of. Where it's like when you see others succeed, it's so much what you believe that it can also
That's
happen.
right. That's
When
right.
you see, like I
That's
said, I
right.
talked to one of my students today who said, "Hey, look, I've been in the program for 2 weeks. I'm up nearly 50%.
Mm.
All of a sudden, you who haven't gotten started, you could relate to him. You could talk to him and say, "Hey, my bro, like, how was it for you?" He will tell you,
Yeah.
"All I did was take action." It's a community
Right.
that's there.
Right.
My vision is to create a wealthy community
Mm.
where we
Mm.
could
Mm.
create wealth, so that one
Mm.
day when I say, "Hey, you know what, we're having a, let's go to Fiji," I know we
Yeah.
can all afford it.
Yeah, exactly that. Exactly that. Exactly that. Right. And that's a powerful
Yeah.
community.
So, so,
Yeah.
so the easiest way to find me is on social media. I'm sure the show notes will have my
Yeah,
information.
definitely.
Just
We'll
search my
put
name,
that
Osamede
there.
R&D, on Instagram or on Facebook. We're starting a YouTube channel, but that's still coming. But yeah, Facebook, Instagram, Osamede R&D, you can find me there. Or if you go to osamede.com
Hmm.
slash invest.
All right.
Typically, I update that page to whatever programs I have offering. I have a program coming up in a few weeks for cryptocurrency market. If you can make it, if it works for you, be there.
Exactly.
It will change the way you see the world. And I
Yeah.
say that, and I always tell people, I say, look, I'm the kind of guy. Look, like I said, I think we talked about earlier on. I don't do this for the money. By the
Mm.
grace of
Mm.
God, I'm fortunate that I make enough for myself and my family.
Hmm.
However, I do this for the chance to be a part of your
I love
success.
that. I love that.
However, I always tell people to make this risk free for you.
Hmm.
If you do come to one of my programs and you realize I did not deliver the value I promised you,
Hmm.
all my programs have what we call a no questions asked money back guarantee. You don't even need to
Mm.
explain yourself. Just send that email, say, it was not what I thought, it did not give me the value.
Right.
Instantly,
Right.
we refund you. Because
Man.
I do not believe I should keep a piece of your hard earned money if I
Mm.
did not deliver value to you.
Mm.
I will
Mm.
take the money that I charge because I know that I will deliver to you
The
much
value.
more in value.
Love that. I love that. I
That's
love
my
that.
principle. So yeah,
That's it. That's it. And I encourage all my this audience, like guys, just dig even just from his pages. The discussions that he's having on these pages are eye openers. They're things that will make you think and look at things differently, and even to get into your courses as well. I would encourage that. And the beauty of it with the technology today, you don't have to be in the same room as him with Zoom and all this technology. Wherever you're in the world, you're able to connect. We will definitely leave your socials and all these other websites in the links below, whether you're watching this on YouTube or the podcast platforms. And I really appreciate your time, Osamide. This has been such a profitable conversation, and I feel like we've just touched the surface level. There's so
Oh
much
yeah, it's a
deeper
lot
we
to
could
talk
go
about.
into.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's so much deeper we could go, and but I want to respect your time as well. So I really do appreciate that. And so before I let you go, Osamide, there's a question that we ask every guest on the Totally African podcast, and every episode, every guest we have to ask, and I would love to hear your answer on this. So Osamide, how would you want to be remembered?
The guy who fathered the world. You see, I'm a believer. I'm in God
Mm-hmm.
and mandates. I think Jesus was asked by his disciples, the Great
Mm,
Commission, the master teacher, right? And he said, the Great Commission, the great assignment we have,
mm,
is to be is to disciple nations.
yeah.
See, the original word there used for disciple was to father, to be a father. I want to be
Mm,
remembered as the man who fathered the world,
wow.
especially Africa. You
Yeah.
see, this Africa is the place of my birth, Nigeria.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
believe my calling is to be a father to that continent.
Amazing.
And what does a father do? He
Mm,
cares for his children. He
mm-hmm.
shows them, he helps them, he grooms them, he helps them
Mm-hmm.
grow, he
Yeah.
empowers them.
Oof.
So, in all of that mandates and more,
Mm,
I wish to be a father, to be remembered as a father to the
yeah.
nations.
I love that. I love that. And I truly believe you will be with the passion and your intent and your motive of what you're doing. I truly believe you will. And once again, guys, we shall leave all his information below. Thank you so much, Osamide, for being here with us. And this is a Totally African podcast, and we'll be great friends.